Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Operation Miss podcast, where we have beautiful women on, sometimes guys, but today we have a beautiful woman on to help women have safer pregnancy journeys and deliveries. And this particular young lady means a whole lot to us at Operation Miss. We met her by chance, but we realized, or we felt like it was by chance, but realized that nothing is by chance. It has been divine intervention for sure. She has been a blessing to all of us, and she has an amazing story to share. And just want to let you know the type of story that she's sharing, not a lot of people are ready to share at this point. And so when you hear, you'll understand why. And you will admire her even more for it, just like we do. So, Adriana, at this time, I will turn the mic over to you. Please introduce yourself to our listeners, sweet girl.
Hi, my name's Adriana. I'm 18 years old. I had my son at 18. I had him in August of this year. But some things didn't go as it was planned. So many women out here think that it's like pregnancy. I want a kid. Like they're gifts. But my pregnancy didn't go as the normal. It didn't go as the normal pregnancy. So when I was about 20 weeks, the OB told me that my son had trisomy 18. And before I get into the whole story, trisomy 18 is a 18th chromosome that is tripled. So my son could have had two X chromosomes, two Y chromosomes, but it's kind of like a deformity. Um, but anyways, when the OB told me and my husband that the baby had trisomy 18, it was kind of like a let's go home and research this because they're talking bad about it. So that following night, when I went home and I researched about it, I cried and I cried and I cried. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Well, I had I had him at 38 weeks. No, excuse me, 33 weeks. And just he was perfect. But some of the birth defects decided that they were going to take over, and I had a stillbirth. We kind of knew it was going to happen. We were just hoping for the best. But sorry, this is really hard.
Sorry.
We were kind of hoping for the best, but he didn't make it. When when I went into labor, like I knew I was having contractions. I knew I was going into labor. My labor broke like a mile down the street from my house. And I was like 30 minutes away from the hospital. So he almost was a car birth baby. um, with the gift of God, he let me kind of hold him in there until I got to the hospital. And just so many things run through your head when you're going through labor, like what's going to happen? Am I going to be okay? And you're just stressed. But sometimes you just have to breathe. Like, I mean, I don't even know how to put it. Like, it's a scary situation. Um, I mean, I've been there when my sister's given birth to my nephews. I've been there, I've seen it, but it's kind of like when your body is doing it, it's different. Um, I had a lot of support when I came home from the hospital. They let me keep him for 3 days. Um, sorry.
Okay, baby girl.
Um, they let me keep him for 3 days. And with those 3 days, I got to bond with him, yes. But it was kind of like that bonding that's never going to be broken. Like, nobody else can have a relationship with him. But, I mean, I do plan to have more kids in the future, but.
Yeah. So can you tell us, and Andy, Adriana, I love you. Can you tell us why? So when we met, you were in the waiting room or in the, I guess, in the waiting area at the OBGYN clinic, and you had already been told that your sweet baby had this diagnosis. And of course, for background, for people listening, we were given a grant to serve women where Adriana lives. And we we saw her and told her about the things that we were offering. So monitoring, being connected with a healthcare provider 24/7, transportation, housing, food assistance, things like that. And immediately she was like, yes. And so if you listen to her story, what I hear is the faith of a mother. Because you didn't say, well, we've been given this diagnosis. I'm just going to do whatever for the rest of the pregnancy. You fought for your baby.
I did.
How were you able to do that? So what made you say yes to Operation Miss? And how were you able to fight even though even in spite of what the doctors were saying? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So, what motivated me to join Operation Mist was the fact that when you did sit down and was talking to me, it kind of opened my eyes. It was kind of like, wow, God sent somebody because he knew something was going to happen. And he sent somebody right then in that time of need. Um, I mean, shoot, I'm trying to move out of my house. I'm trying to move into another one. Um, I mean, it's just a whole lot. I've been stressed. I was stressed through my whole pregnancy, but I couldn't give up. It was kind of like, I mean, the OP kept telling me like they offered an abortion two different times. Excuse me. And I couldn't do that. It's like how can you, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm that person that's against abortions, because if you need it, that's fine. But if you're able to go through your whole pregnancy, I encourage to go through it. I mean, as hard as it's going to get, as much stress as it's going to put on you, I encourage you to go through with it, because at the end of it, you will be thankful you did. Um, I'm sorry, what was the other question?
No, it's just good that you said that because I feel like the when you birthed your sweet son and you called me, it was just like this. I was like, I don't think I'm the best person to be there, Adriana. I'm just gonna be crying the whole time. And you were like, no, it'll be great for you to be there. And so I guess that for you, for people listening who have to make the decision, if I'm given this diagnosis, should I go through with it or not? It's like you feel like it was all worth it for the 3 days that you got to spend with him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was definitely worth it. Now so many people are like, "Whoa, your kid has away and you're still holding him." Yes, because when you actually give birth, and when you actually, like, when everything sets in and you actually realize that you're a mother, it's a different type of feeling. Um, I mean, every day, yes, I wish he was still here, but I know he's in a better place. And I know that not everything is meant for that particular time. Maybe he wasn't ready. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I just kind of, jumped in there and was like, "Hey, I want a kid," and God gave me one, but he took him. I mean, it's just the responsibilities of being a mother is a lot. I mean, I've raised my nephews. I helped my sister raise my nephews, and it's a lot. um, and it's so cool to see how the kids, grow and how they interact with with their siblings and stuff. Um, my oldest nephew, he literally looks like me.
He does. He does.
But that when I got home from the hospital, that was the first person that came out to the car to greet me. And it was like, I don't want to be around kids. I was mad. I was in that grieving stage. But that little boy has saved me through so much. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering how it was to come home and what else helped you cope. So he helped you cope. Um, what other things, I guess, would you tell friends and family members of people who have experienced loss that they can do to support, if anything?
Hmm. That's a good question because I'm the type of person that is not really wanting to be around anyone. I don't like crying in front of people. Uh, and it's not bad to cry. But when when you're in that grieving stage, um my biggest thing is at least have one person that, I mean, and they may not know what you're going through. Excuse me. They may know what you're going through, but they may not know like how to help.
Yeah.
Um, because my sister didn't even know how to help me. Um, but it's kind of like you just have to keep going. I mean, I want to say it gets easier, but in some moments it gets hard.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can be in or any grocery store and you see this little bitty baby and you're like, "Oh, it's so cute." But in the back of your mind you're thinking, "I wish I had mine. Where's mine at? How would mine have been like this?" Um but my biggest thing is at least have one person you can talk to. Even if it's not family. It can be a friend. Um my person was you. um I mean, with everything that's been going on, like I just if people are in like the situation that you're in, meaning like the stressful situation and everything, I would definitely say don't go to them about your problem. They're kinda like stressed too. And see, that's another thing that I don't like to do. I don't like to talk about my problems. I've never been the type to talk. Like, I've always kept to myself. But that day in the OB room, when y'all came in there and y'all sat down, you and Miss Jessica, it opened my eyes. I mean, it was kind of like a, "What is she talking about?" type thing at first, but when I kinda, got to reading up on it, got to understanding what Operation Mist was, I fell to my knees. I That's all I could do. Because how can somebody know that you're going through this and then all of a sudden or how can somebody not know that you're going through something and then they just pop up? It was definitely an eye opener, but it was a good eye opener. It's helped me through a lot. I mean, I've called you countless times crying, like, please help. I don't know what to do. And every time it's always strength, strength, strength. And it's building me up. And that's what I need. And that's what a lot of these moms out here need. So many moms, and see, trisomy 18, trisomy 21, it's more common than usual. Like, so many people are like, what is that? Like, they've never heard of it because they call it something. So trisomy 21 is Down syndrome. Trisomy 18 is Edwards syndrome. And it's so much more common than people realize. But at the end of the day, if you have a support system, if you have people that love you, that care about you, if you have that, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And so many moms go through their pregnancy by themselves, or they go through their pregnancy, and when they have the baby, they have nobody to turn to. And I was just thankful that I wasn't that mom. But that doesn't make me selfish. That doesn't make me selfless. I mean, I'm not self-centered. I would love, I mean, absolutely love to help moms out here that have that, because so many people need to know that they're not alone in this journey. They're not alone in this fight.
Yeah. You know, you are so encouraging to me and have been really since I met you. I know that being a mom at any age is not easy.
Oh
Getting
no.
pregnant at any age is not easy. But when you are a teenager, it can be even harder, you know? And honestly, you think about moms, and like you said, no judgment about abortion at all in this next statement. But it can be easier at 17, 18, if someone offers you an abortion with or without a defect to say, yeah, you know, but you were offered twice and you said, no, thank you. I'm going to go through with this. You are so strong, Adriana. I hope you know that. And I think back to things that I don't know if you remember, but you knew you needed more sleep. You knew you needed to drink more water, to do, to compress and make sure you weren't swelling. And you were trying so hard. You are such a good mom. But on top of that, and you haven't mentioned your sweet papa, but you were running all over the place for him. You had to take care of your husband. You had to take care of your household. You were helping your sister with her children. You were doing so much for so many people. So I'm not surprised at the support system that you have, because you are there for everybody and you're there when it's not easy. And so I see it even in this interview, this conversation, when I asked you if you wanted to, be on the podcast at any time. And you said, I want to do it now. I want to help as many people as I can now. And I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm used to women waiting until they're on the other side of the issue, just until things are whatever better is for them. That's when they're ready to talk. But you said, no, if I can help somebody, I want to do it now. And so even in the midst of a move, you are literally in the midst of a move. And I said 10 minutes before the podcast, Adriana, you don't have to do this. Let's reschedule. And you said, no, I will do this. I will be there. It is such a testament to who you are. And so, you talk about how I was your person and I support you, but when I watch you, you inspire me. And I think that you have helped expose a part of Operation Mist that I felt was not as developed prior to you. And it is, how do we support moms when they don't have their babies afterwards? And I honestly still don't know the answer to that. But I know that it will come as you and I and the rest of Operation is we learn from you.
And
You
see,
know,
you may never have the answer to that question, because I asked myself that question. How am I going to go home and tell my nephew, I'm sorry, baby, I don't have him? I mean, I had to bring my son home. Well, I had to bring my son's stuff home in a box. And that's something no mom ever wants to go through. I had to, matter of fact, when I got out of the hospital, I had to start making funeral arrangements. I had to I had to get the money up to get the urn, to because my son was cremated, so that I could have him with me. And I didn't have to run to a grave site if I wanted to talk to him. Um it's right beside my bed.
so good.
But yeah, you may never have the answer to that question, because I mean, so many moms are different on how they parent. So many moms, I mean, you have a mixed emotion for everything. And I mean, just all I can really say is just kind of like keep that support system going.
Yeah,
Uh, Surround yourself with positivity, because negativity, all it's going to do is bring you down.
yeah,
I've definitely had a whole lot of negative stuff, and Adriana's been in a couple fights and she's had some squabbles, but at the end of the day, if I'm fighting my sister, me and her argue, and the kids see it, it hurts me.
yeah,
It's kind of like you're supposed to be there and we're fighting, but at the end of the day, we apologize, we sit down and we talk it out, because when you're in a situation like this, everything can stress you out. I
yeah.
mean, the water in the kitchen, if it's not turned off, stress you out. If the kids leave a toy in the floor and you step on it, you're liable to say something. I mean, but at the end of the day, you still know who you are and where you stand.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So if you had, hmm, you have your sweet baby right next to you
mm.
now, what things did you do with him while you were in the hospital? What do you recommend? Did you had 3 days? Did you feel like that was enough? Did you feel like outside of your friends, family, us, that the healthcare system did enough, could have done more um, to support you afterwards? I know someone mentioned to me the other day that she lost her sweet baby, and you're supposed to have a 6-week follow-up visit. She didn't have one. She didn't have any follow-up after she lost her baby. Is there any follow-up that you would have liked, or things that you could, if someone's listening and they're part of the healthcare system, how could that 3 days have been made better? How could your pregnancy journey have been made better? And could they do anything to make it better in the aftermath?
So luckily for me, um, my pregnancy journey, the OB, the OB that I was going to wasn't the best place, but I kind of had to still keep going, because at that point in time, I didn't have anywhere else. But they made it, I don't want to say it was okay, but I kind of made the best of what I had right then in that moment. Um, the 3 days with little man, that was amazing. So the ladies that were there, there was like, oh my goodness, when I went into labor, there was like 20 nurses around
Oh,
me, and they were all just, going this way and going that way, and they were just, it was bombarded. Like, I was claustrophobic, I was trying to push, and they were like, no, don't push. And I'm like, y'all are fixing to have a baby, like, I cannot go anymore. But luckily, well, at first they couldn't find an eye, like a vein in my hand or anything. I was sweating so bad that when they finally found the vein, they had to take the tape and wrap it around my hand.
wow.
Yeah, I sweated that off. Like, it would not stick to me.
Wow.
Um, but I mean, they made it a little bit easier and better. Um, After I gave birth, and I was holding him and everything, everybody was able to come in and see him. My husband was standing there with me through the whole thing, and I am surprised he did not choke one of the nurses out. Because when they grabbed my legs for me to push, she pushed my knee into my chest.
Mm,
And at that moment, I knew that if I did not get my son out of me, that there's gonna be something terribly wrong.
yeah,
So
yeah.
as I was pushing and everything, the ladies, they were like, "Come on, it's okay, it's okay." Um, yeah, after the fact, I was pale. I had no color. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. So I mean, it just kind of got better as the days went on. Um, yeah, so it was a lot. It was stressful, but at the end of the day, I mean, I needed it, because when you have a kid, it opens your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's in the future for you, Adriana? Tell us what will the next year look like for you?
So the next year,
Yeah.
uh, let's see. So at the end of December, I'm probably gonna be moving again into my actual house. Um, or at the beginning of the year when I get my taxes back. But let's see. So the move, I might try again for another one, but with what I just went through, I encourage not to do it, because it's kind of like, let your body heal, because your body needs more than 6 weeks. Um, but at the end of the day, me being me, and I'm hard headed, so um, I'm kind of trying to have another one, because I promised my papa and my mimi that they would have a great grandbaby. So in the midst of all of this, actually I'm still trying to help them. So probably I'll probably be down there a lot more than I was this year.
Wow.
Is my mimi, she's been in and out of the hospital because she's has COPD and she needed oxygen. My papa's been in and out of the hospital because his knees are swelling because of gout. So it's kind of like they need help too. But I'm kind of trying to put myself on the back burner and help everybody else, because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to be okay. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that for us, just watching you on this journey is going to be such a joy. And connecting you with women that we know you can empower and strengthen is will definitely do that, because you, even though you help a lot of people, it seems to bring you so much joy. It is so beautiful to watch. And then even watching you with children, I don't know if you have thought about doing a daycare or anything, but you have a gift. And so we'll see what the next year has, but I think I may know that you have amazing things in store, and you just take your time doing whatever you think you need to do. but you deserve the rest. You deserve to rest and just relax. So for anyone, who listens to this episode and you want to connect with Adriana, if they want to connect with you, how could they? What would
Um,
be the best way?
I mean, I have social media. My number is the best way. Um, and my email.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can put that stuff down at the bottom for everybody. Um, but all I ask is nobody call me in the middle of the night.
Girl, nobody will call you in the middle of the night. We'll do email. How about that? In case anyone wants to connect. And but do you have anything you want to say before we close out the episode?
I just encourage women, if you're going through something like this, you're not alone. You're not. I never thought it would happen to me. It's kind of that thing where you've seen somebody kind of go through the same thing, but you're like, oh no, that's not gonna happen to me. You never think it's gonna happen to you until it happens. And it'll tear you down even more, but you just have to keep going and keep pushing.
Thank you. Thank you for being on the episode with us. To everyone listening, I know that you have fallen in love with Adriana, just like I have, just like we have. And we hope that this episode blesses you, encourages you, and helps you know that, like she said, you're not alone, and that I mean, she has found joy in a lot of things, and we pray that you will too.